What's up there, my friends, and welcome back again to Carpo's channel. Today I'm sitting out in my backyard, and as you can see, that makes my video more credible. Why does it make my video more credible? Because nature makes everything more credible. So this video is brought to you by nature. Now that it's spring again, I will be able to sit out here and enjoy the beautiful sounds of lawnmowers and sirens as the sirens literally just started as I said that. So welcome to Carpo's Siren channel. I appreciate you coming along for the journey. I wonder who died. We'll talk about that another time. Today we're going to have a little bit of from me to you, I guess. A little bit of gratitude from me to the other YouTubers out there who I feel have landed a very specific angle to truth. In a world that seems so full of ridiculous lies and hyperbole and overstatement that it's almost shameful sometimes. It's to the point now where I've pretty much lost faith that the internet will become anything great, that will be, that even a page of YouTube on the trending list won't be filled with anything but complete garbage that is well-known garbage and propaganda. And many of these channels, things like Brightside or 5-Minute Crafts, the channels where people are like, what the hell is this? How can these people get away with even posting this kind of nonsense? It's obviously stuff that's made overseas, very poorly constructed, and really just makes absolutely no sense. And a lot of the time is actually harmful and counterproductive. But even the ones that are made here and in the US, a lot of the kids that make some of this stuff, the kids have fallen victim to this too. Kids don't even have the chance to sell out anymore. They basically have sold out from the time that they first get on TikTok. They're willing to do just anything for views. And old man screaming at clouds here, I think I have a legitimate complaint. So first off, I've only got a few minutes here, so I want to name off the people, a few of the channels, which I'll list down below, that I find to be very at least funny, somewhat humorous, and be able to tackle all these different crappy little aspects to YouTube that makes it such a crappy platform. Just by default, it's not that that's their purpose to dismiss or diss YouTube. It's more, this is the kind of stuff that kids are exposed to. And that's really the main point I want to make here. Adults can choose what they want to watch. If adults are dumb and they want to watch dumb programming, then that's their choice. But a lot of kids watch these things and the parents see these cartoons and graphics and think it's educational, and so much of it is just not, and a lot of it's downright damn dangerous. So there's guys like Gooden. Another one is Penguin Zero, I think is the name. I believe his name's Charlie. I'm not super familiar with all these channels. They're just ones that I've found have some pretty humorous takes and are a very collected and self-aware, honest people who you can tell have the right intentions to, expose BS. People who wouldn't lie to you. I guess it takes a certain type of person not to be full of shit these days. But Gooden, Penguin Zero. Then there's another one I found called GunnarTV, Gunnar TV, and I found him a while back, and he's pretty funny. He's tackled some of this stuff about these TikTokers and the kind of crap that they do. There's Curtis Connor, and all these guys are pretty young, and they're 20-somethings. Then there's Munecat, that's M-U-N-E, Cat. I believe she's from Britain, but it's a female, the first female I've named, and she's pretty funny. She's tackled some of these topics in depth. There's a guy named Jarvis Johnson. He's kind of funny too. And then there's a guy named Big Joel. Some of these guys lean really far left and kind of get into kind of the eye roll territory where it's like, how are we going to talk about this again? Because we're also politically stuck and divided in so many different ways that it's hard to get away from that. So there's always going to be a little bit of bias. But the truth is, generally liberal-minded people, I totally, I laugh at a hell of a lot more. It's because they're bringing up some of these ridiculous things that allowing, I guess it's like unchecked capitalism, right? Really, I'm not talking about just capitalism as being the problem here, but rather the fact that we revere money so much in our society that channels are willing to pretty much say or do anything. And when YouTube finds a channel that they know is full of shit, that they know is spreading nonsense, but is getting millions and millions of views every day, and they're bringing in ad revenue too, then they will leave it up. So it was never ever from the beginning about actually removing disinformation from YouTube. It was always about just getting the things in the recommended and suggested list that they want in there that will make ad revenue. And so on to what these guys expose. You know, a lot of people sacrifice their authenticity for views. This is nothing new. And especially a lot of young people. You can't blame them. And I'm not talking about people who want to put on an act or a show. There's some phenomenal young artists out there who really don't get the credit that they should. And it's not just the fault of YouTube and their promoting algorithm bullshit, but it's also the fact that people, we the consumers, people want a quick fix, something that's entertainment, edutainment, if you will. Just like we like pop psychology and pop science, it's become big business out there. And when you see something that has a catchy title and a catchy thumbnail, often people won't give it a second thought. They'll just think, oh, this must be good. And so much of it is put together so horribly by some place in Ukraine or Russia. Some of these little, you know, there's one group that owns all of these ones, like 5 Minute Crafts. What is it? 5 Minute Crafts. Then there's Brightside. Then there's the Infographics Show. And then several other ones, which are things like True Stories, which claim to be kids that send in stories and then they will read them. And they're not true stories. They're completely made up. I mean, all of it's fake. And it's really sad because it doesn't give you any advice. It's like, it makes me wonder, it's cringe to even watch these, but for the sake of research, a lot of these YouTubers I mentioned have done these things. They've watched these videos, and that's why I'm giving them the credit. They take the time to dig into the dark, nasty aspects of some of these gross, you know, sides of YouTube and really say, what does this channel have to offer? Who owns it? And how many other bullshit YouTube channels and websites do they own? There are massive multi-billion-dollar media companies out there that basically produce nothing. They're content farms, and a lot of them steal their content and from smaller creators, and there's absolutely nothing anybody can really do about it. So some of the things that are, you know, some of the worst aspects of this are the ones that are like bad life hacks, things that can actually be dangerous, physically dangerous, like cutting electrical wires and doing things that kids should never ever do with no warnings, no info. It is like these people must have no brain or don't care. But when you're making that much money, how can you not at least take the time to put up a warning of some sort? It's ludicrous, and YouTube does really nothing about it, and millions of kids watch this crap. Really bad hacks, really dangerous experiments, things like that. Bad craft ideas, really bad craft ideas. And a lot of them, even the ones that aren't dangerous, just waste a lot of money and time. Like they do nothing to save time. You know, they'll have you cut a cord in half so you can put a splice in it and put tape on it and then put it back together and say, look, you have fixed cord now. Well, it was already fixed before. You know, the changing things, and like it's, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you'd have to be there. You just got to watch some of these videos. They're bad, really bad. And there are horrible cooking channels with just disgusting ideas, like dumping eggs into a bag of Fritos and cooking it, this kind of stuff. Nothing that was ever tried before or planned, just something that was done for a quick post on Snapchat or Instagram or whatever it might be. And a lot of them are these sped up type ridiculous videos where the people are like, and they have these, you know, unrealistic, you know, expressions, and you can't, it's really bad English, you know. It's like not even the recipe works. It's hilarious watching some of these guys try these recipes and show how bad they really are. But on top of that, it gets much worse. Those are, of course, just bad ideas. Then there's the mental health aspect. People are giving advice on finding friends. A lot of these people, not even the foreign shows, but the U.S. guys and a lot of these younger kids giving dating advice, fake ass advice about what women want and how to attract women, and bad advice for health. for your diet, things you should or shouldn't consume. Here, take this special supplement because it'll help you attain some state of enlightenment, and don't eat this food because it's going to kill your gut, and this is the only thing that you should eat. There's a lot of bullshit out there. And then there's the fake deep. Like, within the deep fake category, there's the fake deep. The people who post all these motivational quotes and shit that they pretend like they're deep and insightful, and really they don't mean shit. They're just obvious things we all know, right? You've got this entire side of get-rich-quick schemes, whether it's the MLMs, the multi-level marketing, which I just despise, or the more in-depth the guys who are out there selling you courses on how to be a millionaire when they've never can't show you how they made their money, or even really define that they were probably just a trust fund kid, and they're just trying to sell you on who they are. And so some of the worst of them are the gambling apps or the freemium gaming that wants to just sell you on basically buying more tokens because you have that dopamine rush, that addiction, and you can't stop yourself, and when it's adults it's bad enough, but when it's kids, that can become a huge problem, and a lot of parents have had to pay a high bill. That's why you don't leave your phone open to let your kids play on, I guess, or you make sure that they have to use a password at least. You have to be a fool these days to leave that open. But there's the pickup artists, there's the crypto bros, there's the red cell group, the red pill group with the incels who just hate women and have had a bad experience themselves. Then there's the extreme feminists who hate men. There's groups for everyone, right? There's the webinars for the up-and-coming entrepreneur, giving them the promise of a better future when most people know they won't make a damn thing. They'll just spend $1,000 on a course that's worth about $5, if that. And a lot of this shit is aimed at kids. Even the rise and grind crap is aimed at the teenage crowd. Like, you can do this, you can be successful. Everybody wants to impress their teachers and their parents and themselves, and to move forward in life and to be able to be, provide for their family and themselves. And when somebody makes you a promise, even if they can't keep it, people tend to believe it. So I guess kids grow up fast, and there's a sense of urgency, and it's easy to sell kids on the new fad, the latest shit. It's good to be skeptical about these things. So thanks to the truth tellers, if you will. I just wanted to say I appreciate that. I could probably go on a little longer here, but I have to pick up my son from school here in a minute, and so I have my own sense of urgency, if you will. And I just think selling this kind of shit to kids is wrong. The motivational speakers and all that is kind of on a different level. It's on a different side. That's kind of along with the spiritual community, preying on people, selling you wands and special healing potions and crystals. Look, I've wanted to believe it all, but you got to see through it and realize, hang on to your wallet and your sense, and don't let yourself be taken advantage of by anybody, especially not these, douchebag alpha males sitting there and having podcasts talking in groups about, what it means to be a real man, and then selling you some kind of bullshit boner pills. It's just the world we live in. People want to be a different person sometimes. They want to be better. They think that they should be something different. And it's okay. Just be authentic. Be yourself. And find your niche and make it work for you. And try to ignore some of these crappy advice channels. They're just horrendous and horrible. Just shameful. Gotta go. I'll talk to y'all next time. Be well. Take care of each other. Thanks for listening.